Hi, I'm Katharina Engelhardt, and welcome to the You Got This podcast, the podcast where we dive into career and leadership inspiration for women who are ready to take charge and lead with ease, confidence, and fun. In each episode, we explore strategies and stories designed to help you break through barriers, embrace your authentic self, and create the career you deserve. Whether it's through solo episodes packed with actionable insights or conversations with inspiring experts, this podcast is all about helping you to step up, to be seen, and to lead with impact. So, if you're ready to learn more about how to rise and unlock your full potential, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of You Got This, the podcast for women who want to thrive in leadership and still have a life where they can, take care of themselves. Today we are talking to someone I met via LinkedIn, when I was looking into authentic storytelling, how to build your brand and inspire confidence. And I met Melanie. Melanie, the content Heldin. Maybe you want to share a little bit about yourself, Melanie, who you are, what you do.
Yes, I will. So first of all, thank you very much, dear Katharina, that I can be here and will now go into one of my greatest fears, speaking English in a podcast. So thank you very much for this challenging opportunity at first. And now I will talk a little bit about myself. I'm Melanie. I'm the founder of Content Helden, and we help coaches and consultants to be successful with storytelling on LinkedIn and gain reach and leads, etc. Yeah.
You have an interesting background. When we first met, I was reading as well where you're coming from, and you started with industrial mechanics to journalist. I
Yes.
mean, this is an interesting journey. And since I'm talking about career development, what did you make go this way? Why did you start this way?
I can start with this. It's a very, very long story. To be honest, I don't know really where to start. Maybe I will start at the point when I was around 15 or 16 years old. When I finished with Realschule, and then I started a training as an industrial mechanic at Stadtwerke Bielefeld. Yeah,
So
in 2006. This is a long time ago right now. And I thought, maybe, I don't know, I thought I have to do it that way because I'm from a working class family. My father is a self-employed electrician. And I thought this industrial mechanic training, that field, that felt realistic for me. When I was 15 or 16 years old, I never thought about that I could do my Abitur or do studies. This is something I could not imagine because everyone in my in my family, school, and so on, everyone is doing like a training like this. So I thought this will be my way too. Yeah, and then I started this training and finished it, and I worked as a full skilled worker in this job for about 1 year, and then I was around, I don't know, 20 or 21 years old, and then I thought this cannot be enough. This cannot be enough. There was also no further progress, and I recognized that I have to go back to school and do my studies to go even further. And then I did my Abitur at evening school in Bielefeld.
wow.
First in Bielefeld and then in Berlin. And first of all, I didn't really know what to do with my Abitur and studies, but I know that in the first year of evening school, I thought, okay, it must be something with writing. I wanted to do something with writing. And then my job aspiration was to be a journalist, and
Oh, wow.
as you maybe know, it's a little bit difficult to earn enough money while being a journalist or a freelance journalist. And then I was employed later as a content marketer in several startups, and there I saw there's an opportunity to earn money and then I started later. I started my own business after a few years working as a content marketer in startups, and then I founded contenthelden.de in 2020. Yeah.
Which is super interesting because when we started talking, you said, the biggest fear is, talking English and speaking English. Yeah. My biggest fear was writing. Yeah. That's how I met you. When I saw you on LinkedIn, when you're talking about storytelling, and how to be more authentic, share about yourself. And this was my kind of a limiting belief that I cannot write, because I'm an engineer, I'm very technical. Yeah. And I was like, and
Yeah.
storytelling is so important. Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur, coach, as well in the corporate world, storytelling is the key to success.
Yeah.
Why do
Yeah.
you think storytelling is so important, and has it always been that important?
I think it's important. It's some kind of how do I tell this? How do I tell this? You began to talk about that you are a very technical person. So for me, that means you are very rational and very into your head. And storytelling is something you will do by your heart. And this is something you can emotionally connect with people on a emotional basis. Yeah. So I think that's the superpower of storytelling. I don't know if that makes it clear.
I think it makes it completely clear because
Yeah.
whilst talking, I can connect with people. In writing, I couldn't connect,
Yeah.
yeah, because I had this thing, I need to, maybe from school, I learned, you need to express, the facts and the figures, and the structure. And we were really taught to follow rules, yeah, in writing. But the thing is, there are rules, yeah, but maybe different rules now.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
How did storytelling influence your professional transformation? Because from mechanical worker to storytelling for coaches, entrepreneurs,
Mm.
that's not a straight line.
No. Um, how was that? First of all, if that's okay, I will skip to the point where I already founded contenthelden.de, and that was the point I could use my storytelling skills when I was doing my blog marketing service. Because before the point when I did my LinkedIn services, I was the expert for blog marketing for tech startups. And to sell this service, I started with LinkedIn and started posting like everyone else with a very technical content marketing stuff and techniques and so on. And then I had one post where I talked about myself, and there I felt, okay, here I can use something I already learned in journalism, in my literature studies, yeah, and here I can use my storytelling skills to sell my blog marketing services, and that worked very, very well. And later there was one lady, which was Julia Dandinger, you maybe know, a serial entrepreneur, and she asked me if I could write her LinkedIn posts like I write my LinkedIn posts in storytelling style. And so she became my first LinkedIn customer. And after that, my whole business shifted from blog marketing service to LinkedIn services. And right now, I'm using my storytelling skills for myself, of course, for my business, and I train my clients in storytelling skills. So I don't know. I think it became a second nature to me.
To find this interesting because from a career perspective in the corporate world, storytelling gets more important as well. I started, for example, my first time and when I really came closer to storytelling was when I was working in costing. I was working with data, and data is boring. It's super boring. But I need to help people to see what I saw. With my analytical brain, I saw something in the data, and then I needed to help people see the same in storytelling, helping them to see the beauty
Yeah.
of not the dry data. This was a challenge. So when you think about people in the corporate world for storytelling, where do you think they can use this more to create more visibility, confidence? What would be your ideas on this one? Because you have been in a corporate job as well.
You mean on which platform, for example?
For example, maybe on LinkedIn.
Of course, on LinkedIn, but I think there can be several points where you can use it. Maybe, for example, also in I don't know if this is. I can imagine one example like pitch decks, but this is maybe something more for startups. I don't know how often this is used in.
To do it as
So
well
this
when you're
is
pitching.
yeah, in pitching, of course, maybe at speaker events, of course.
Hmm.
I know that you are doing a few speaker events per year. I saw something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my next challenge.
Yeah, you have a new speaker event?
Yeah, I have a new one coming up. This is about the power of saying no in business
Great.
environment.
Great topic. And there I would recommend to you that you can maybe tell your own story about saying no. For example, there must be something. There must be some story in the last years where it was maybe not that easy to say no for you in business.
That's a good starting point. What would you think are the key ingredients of a memorable and impactful story in a professional context, maybe?
Yeah. And that is, of course, something that everyone has to decide on his or her own. But I can't recommend it, yeah, to be honest. But I think it has to be a story that you can truly and really feel at that point. This is, I think, the first and most important ingredient of a very good story. And then I think it's the same like every story is built. It's always this hero story, and maybe of course you have heard before that there's a hero and there's a hurdle to overcome. And what did you do to overcome this hurdle? And what have you learned about this? So I think almost 95% of all stories are built that way. So I think these are the key ingredients of a good story is built.
It is interesting when I do my career coaching, I have a subject, a chapter which is called career storytelling, where I ask my clients, mostly women, to think about memorable moments in their career, which, where they had something magic, like the hero stories, and train these stories when they are asked in an interview, what happened if, can you tell me a story, when you had success, that, they have this authenticity feeling, that's a story, and they trained it already, because sometimes just to do it on the spot is a challenge. So a little bit of training, I think
Yeah.
it's a muscle that can be trained, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
That's what you do in the training. Train my muscles.
Yes, yes. We trained your writing muscles.
When I think about your career, and I'm sure one of the things why you changed your career was to look for more success and fulfillment, maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
Can you just, share a little bit more on this one? What were you looking for?
I think the main point for me to step full in this self-employment or building my own company was that I wanted to really be the builder of my own life. Sometimes it feels for me like I almost invented my own job. So this I now have this life that totally fits into the needs I have right now, or the needs that my clients have. This was not something that for me that I wasn't able to build when I was in a employment situation. And right now, what really, really, really makes me feel happy to also empower people to have the courage to really be themselves. And this is what I love right now about my job and what I'm doing. I don't know if this is a good answer to your question.
I think that's a perfect answer, and this, it's close to my heart. Empowering people to become who they really are already,
Yes, yes.
what's in them already, and helping them to share this authentically in their brand voice.
Yeah, I mean that sounds totally basic, just be yourself, okay? But I think this is the hardest way to do. Most difficult at all, and this is totally scary to almost everyone.
It is scary, and leaving corporate world to look after what is there, what could be my dream,
Yeah.
is challenging, because a lot of women are looking for stability and safety. Not only women, people in general. I think that's one thing. And I think stepping what you did into this entrepreneurship is a little bit going into unknown territory.
Yes. Yes, totally.
There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee anyhow, yeah, but there's even less guarantee.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
And
might.
there were a few years I wanted to be self-employed, I don't know, since 1 or 2 years before I really did this. And I know that my father always told me, don't do this. This is very insecure or unsafe. It's very exhausting. Just don't do it.
So what would be your advice, when you think about yourself like 5 years ago? What would have
Yeah.
been the advice which would have helped you
Advice that would have helped me
5 years ago?
5 years ago would be something like believe in yourself. Believe in yourself that you are having this very, very, very strong wish that you want to be self employed. Just do it. Just do it.
Which, as an Adidas person, I need to be careful what I'm saying,
Sorry.
but I know what you mean. Get started, action. Not thinking, but try it out, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, just try it out and not think too much. And there will be also there there will be every time people that will tell you you won't do it, you won't make it. But I can only recommend, if you have this dream, just step into this world and try it out. Even if you fail, at least you have tried it.
So I could listen to you so much longer. When you think about one word which would describe you, Melanie, in total, private and business, the Melanie, what word would it be?
Passionate.
Passionate.
Passionate because I think I want to feel something even at work, and I won't settle for less.
You shouldn't settle for less, isn't it?
No,
You
no,
only have
no.
one life, isn't it?
No, no, because work is such a big part of my life. I mean, you know it, I know it. We both working a lot, and this is a huge part of our lives. And then it should mean something, that it should have a positive impact, and it should be fun. So for me, this is very important. I would not like to do a job that I don't want to do just to get the money to pay my rent, for example.
Honestly, I think this is the most powerful statement, and I think this is a good way to end our interview, that people should really look into what they are doing. Melanie, how can you help people what advice do you give to people who want to start on LinkedIn? Because that's a very
Yeah,
practical for everyone starting on LinkedIn.
yeah. You mean for self-employed or everyone? Also,
If it's possible to have one advice for everyone, I'm not too sure. Maybe
yeah.
that's a topic to discover. Yeah, is there one advice for all, or is it different?
I'm not 100% sure because what I most of the time say that is to me most important for self-employed, that they have a profile slogan where everyone can see, okay, what is this person doing, what is their offer, and what is their target group. Yeah. And when I now think about someone that is employed, that is employed. I think it's also important for people that are visiting this profile to understand what is this person doing, because maybe sometime they will find or would like to change her or his job. So I guess this is important for employed people too, the profile slogan, and the rest is just start posting. I mean, you can start with one post per week. And if you're doing this per week for 6 or 8 weeks and you post it every week for one time, this is very good. And this is something that most of the people don't accomplish.
I personally think as well that this is the important thing. And I think the slogan is as well for people in corporate jobs important, because,
Yeah.
for example, if I would look in my corporate job at Adidas, what do I stand for there? I stand for digital product creation. I stand for textile development. And what else? If I would look for a job in sustainability, I could start writing about sustainability, because that's a big thing now in the industry. And this way I could, reach out to potential new companies, employers. I could learn about sustainability. So I think I really think LinkedIn is for being entrepreneur or corporate the best platform to start.
Yeah, yeah, right now, yeah. This is almost a monopole. I don't know if you say this in English that way, because a long time ago there was Xing, and Xing is still existing right now, but it's not a real competitor to
Really.
LinkedIn, and there's no other business social media platform right now, and I'm waiting for the moment when there will be, I don't know, a second social media business platform someday. Let's see.
So your advice to women in leadership: start telling your story authentically. Is this an advice?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I believe that a lot of women are holding back their abilities or downplay their abilities. And I think the best advice I can give, just go out and show what you can do. This is what, I don't know, in my opinion, a lot of women learned that they should not show it that way, to not intimidating people.
Yeah, not to show off, to brag, to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
too visible. Yeah, I think this being visible for women is still a challenge. Yeah, we are
yeah.
still. You're right. Melanie, thank you so much for joining the You Got This podcast. And I think this message about storytelling and your way into living your dream, I think that's super inspiring. Don't settle for anything less than what you deserve.
Thank you so much for this interview. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Katharina. I really enjoyed our interview.
Perfect. So if you want to learn more about Melanie, you can find her link in the show notes. And if you ever dreamt of being, starting your own business and you need someone to help you shape your profile on LinkedIn, I can really recommend Melanie. I call her the whisperer of emotions, because that's what she's really uncovering. So stay tuned for our next conversation. Today we focused on storytelling, so you can really be your authentic self in your leadership role. See you and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for joining me today. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an update. For more inspiration and leadership tips, follow me on LinkedIn. You'll find the link in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe so you can stay on track with every new episode. Let's continue this journey of growth together. You've got this. I'm Katharina Engelhardt, the host of the You Got This podcast.